stories we've got plenty of. Laugh at all the jokes again, cause they're still holding up. Mostly. We're two stepsisters bonded, living Hollywood lives. Even if one of us is watching for the very first time. All the good, the bad, the barky, take a peek inside. Let's rewatch and relive the good times. Keanan and Lakin give you deja vu.
Hello, studio audience, and welcome to a very special Halloween episode of Keanan and Lakin. I am Christine Lakin.
And I am Stacy Keanan.
And we're about to give you some Halloween deja vu. You ready for this? Guys, it's Halloween Eve. Okay?
That's right.
We've got to get you in the mood.
That's right. Here we are. So your makeup has been purchased. Your wig is sitting on the wig form. Your body stocking is hanging off the back of your bedroom door.
You have 14 pounds of candy waiting in some sort of contraption or bowl by your front door. You are hopefully locked and loaded and ready. Or you're ready to just turn off all the lights and pretend you're not home and watch scary movies in the back room.
Yes, and then you can put on this very special VIP studio audience app and just listen to it very quietly
while you
in
eat
the
your
dark.
sour gummy worms.
Yes.
Actually, what is your Halloween candy? If you were going to go trick-or-treating today, what would you hope to get? And what would you barter?
Okay, what I don't want is the chocolate, and I'm very mad that people mix the chocolate and the fruity stuff, because then the chocolate tastes like all the fruity stuff, because of course the fat in the chocolate absorbs all the smells and tastes.
But it's all wrapped.
It doesn't matter. It still does it.
What?
The chocolate absorbs all that.
I
So
didn't know that.
I wish we could just be a little food conscious and just keep those separate. I think maybe the kids should have two separate bags, one for chocolate candies, one for non-chocolate candies.
The foodie, guys. The foodie's coming back.
Okay. But then I would definitely want the gummies, the sour stuff.
Yes.
For sure. And then I would definitely trade all of the chocolate.
Are you a Swedish fish person?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mike and Ike?
No.
Hot tamales?
No.
Sweet tarts?
Yes, but especially the gummy sweet tarts that they have now.
Yeah.
They're so good. Have you had those?
I don't know that I have.
They're
Gummy
excellent.
sweet tarts?
Yes.
I've had gummy lifesavers.
Those are good. So are the gummy Skittles, but the gummy sweet tarts, fantastic.
Skittles.
Sure.
I enjoy a Skittle. What about a chewy sweet tart? Those I loved.
What's a chewy sweet tart?
Oh,
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, those were good. But that was sort of 80s where they started doing that. Yeah. And it was that weird, it's chewy, but it's not gummy. It's almost powdery.
Yeah, I liked it.
I loved it. Yeah, I was into all of that.
I was also way into pixie sticks and Fun Dip, which is what really is just the candy gateway to doing lots of hard drugs.
Yes, it's cocaine in sugar form. It's getting you primed and ready for just sugar addiction. Yeah. What is yours?
I'm different. I like a Kit Kat.
Oh.
I also enjoy a Reese's cup. Those were the gold standard. So if you had Reese's cups, you could pretty much trade for anything you wanted.
Okay.
I do like Skittles. I will not turn down a Milky Way Dark. And I also enjoy
esoteric.
I will not push away a Twix either. What I don't want your Whoppers.
No. What are you doing? No. And
thank you.
The other thing that I get mad at here in LA is people do the Chupa Chups. No Chupa Chups. No, you don't need a lollipop in the first place. And you certainly don't need a lollipop that is so tiny. I mean, the top of that lollipop is teeny, tiny.
My kids love that, though. They love lollipops.
No Chupa Chups. No.
But it's very difficult. Now it used to be all about how much candy can you get? How late can you stay up? How many houses can you hit? I mean, it was a big competition when I was a kid. I lived in a subdivision. And at one point, one of my best friend's moms, maybe she was in on it too. She took us around in her minivan into cul-de-sacs and would let us out, and we would scour the cul-de-sac and then meet back in the minivan, and then she would just drive us to another one.
Oh my God. It's like a military operation.
It was an operation. I came back with like a pillowcase full of candy.
See, I can just picture I've never been to where you grew up in Georgia, but I'm picturing it being very straight out of the movies Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The mom is walking and she has the kids and she's got the flashlight.
Totally.
And
the little sticks that you break and they glow.
The little glow sticks.
Yeah, the glow sticks.
Yeah. See, Pennsylvania was kind of like that. I remember it sort of like the beginning of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh.
Where it was just kind of it would get dark a little too early and that chill would be in the air and it would have that crisp smell in the air and there would be all the leaves, the fallen leaves swirling, and then you're waiting for the big kids to start bullying the littler kids. And yeah, Pennsylvania is a good, at least outside of Philadelphia area. Yeah, and right outside of Philly, those big old houses.
Fog.
On the main line.
I grew up in Goosebumps and you grew up in Stephen King. You were Stephen King novel waiting to happen. And are you afraid of the dark?
Oh, well then we moved to New York City and New York is a different scene when it comes to trick-or-treating.
Yeah, what is
especially
that
in the 80s. The only trick-or-treating that I ever did in New York was I was best friends with the daughter of the woman who managed my sister and I.
Okay.
So she had a management company and it was just for kids. And they, the management company, they represented kids who acted and everything else, but their specialty was kids who sang jingles.
Right.
Right. So that was kind of their niche area. And then they would send you out for everything else as well, but it really focused on kids who sang. And this woman, her daughters, one of which was my sister's age and one of which was my age just about, they both sang as well. So they would come along on some of the gigs and our manager would be in the booth and she would figure out all the harmonies and teach everyone the harmonies real quick. And we would be in there with all the kids because in the 80s, they're making big jingles a lot and would hire 20 kids to sing all these harmonies and do this stuff, which was really fun. But anyway, so my sister and I became best friends with her daughters.
And where do you trick or treat? Are you going to bodegas? Are you going are you knocking on all the apartment doors? Is that a thing?
Well, okay. So they lived, I will call her Bella, was my friend and the daughter of my manager. And they lived in one of those crazy apartments on Central Park West.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it was near. Yeah, so pre-war building on Central Park near the Dakota. And, we lived in Spanish Harlem. So I would take the bus. I mean, at this point, it was in the 80s. I would take the bus by myself. I would just take the bus down Columbus Avenue.
This is a horror story.
Get off in the 60s. Her building was in the upper 60s. And then just walk over. Yes, there was a doorman. But in this building, every apartment was an entire floor. Whoa. So when you got off the elevator, you were in the little lobby for her apartment. And then her apartment was the entire floor of the building facing Central Park.
Okay.
So because we were so broke and where we lived was so horrible and depressing in Spanish Harlem, I would just go and check in to her place like it was a hotel and just stay there for the entire weekend and sleep over. And it was super fun. So we trick-or-treated in her building.
Wow.
But the amazing thing is the other people who lived in the building. So Clive Davis lived in the building.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you are not familiar with Clive Davis, I did a little Clive.
Get ready. We're going to have
background
a biography. This is your Wikipedia for the night.
Just to give you an idea of who the trick-or-treating, options were. Okay. So good old Clive was the president of Columbia Records. Then he went on to found Arista Records, which my husband, who's British, pronounces Arista. Which he's like, what do you mean Arista? Anyway, Arista. And when at this time in the 80s was peak Arista. So, he's credited with discovering Whitney Houston. So he was there. Anyway, so he's famous for...
He would have his own Grammy party. Like if you're having your own Grammy party and people are coming, you famous.
Yes. So he signed Sly and the Family Stone, Janis Joplin, Santana, Bruce Springsteen, Chicago, Billy Joel, the Bay City Rollers, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the Ace of Base, Aerosmith, Pink Floyd. And then he's credited with making not only Whitney Houston, but also Barry Manilow. And yeah, so he's one...
Get an act, really.
So he's won a bunch of Grammys as a producer. He's just, anyway.
So what candy's he handing out? That's the question.
So I recall getting 45s from there.
What do you mean? Oh, like records?
Yes.
Okay.
So our young listeners are now lost in confusion. So what is this of which we speak? A 45, a record, you said?
Record.
So vinyl, basically. And then a 45 was a single.
Right.
So it was a little vinyl that would just have a single on it. And then there would be some B-side on the other side.
That is so cool.
So I remember that. I remember also in that building getting cash.
Cash?
Yeah. Oh, Paul Simon lived in the building also.
Okay. Burying all the leads.
Yeah. So I just remember getting like dollar bills or $5 bills in that building. I remember getting...
Paul Simon was like, shit, I forgot it was Halloween. Just give him cash.
Who has cash? Anyone? Cash? Who's got cash on them? Oh, damn it. We're out of the singles. All right. I guess we're giving out the 5s now. Right. So Paul Simon, I never saw Paul Simon. Well, actually, I did see like the back of him occasionally, going from the building. But more exciting was his super hot son, Harper.
Okay.
Who was just a little bit older and super hot, and he wore creepers, and he was just kind of like late punk.
What's a creeper?
What now?
I'm sorry. What's it? Do you know what a creeper is?
Nathan?
No idea.
Magical Nathan. My head is exploding imagining the creeper montage that Nathan could create just casually as he's, I don't know, brushing his teeth or something. I don't understand the magic of this man. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
We're both like, what's happening?
What is happening? Okay, and there's a million listeners screaming right now. Okay, how to describe a creeper? So creepers were sort of post-punk, I would say post-punk style. It's a shoe.
Okay.
And it has a very thick sole, almost like a platform, and the sole is textured.
Okay.
So the sole itself has a kind of variegated texture to it. And then they just have this really cool silhouette. There's different silhouettes you can get. You could get almost like a loafer or ones that are sort of a lace up. But they're super cool. I want to say Gwen Stefani had a moment later on where she was wearing creepers as kind of, her little moment with that.
Look this up.
Rihanna for Fenty, collab with Puma, just did a creeper sneaker where it has, which I bought 2 pairs, obviously, where it has the creeper sole, but it's a sneaker, which is pretty cool.
Okay, it's like a Doc Marteny thick platformy loafer.
Oh, yeah.
But they're usually not leather. Like the top might be sort of calf hair, or it might be patterned, but they're usually not shiny leather like a Doc.
Okay.
Anyway, so he wore creepers and a big old kind of baggy coat, and he was super cool. And a legend had it, he had a girlfriend named Magda, and that they were allowed to go to Sunsplash in Jamaica together by themselves when they were 16. And me and Bella just died. Like, can you imagine how cool this is that they got to go?
Wow.
I know.
I love that. I love that being the rumor.
Well, yes. So, because, Clive had a son. I say Clive like I knew the man. I did not. I just knew he lived in the building. But we did hang out with his son, Doug, who is a year older than me. And he was kind of always bopping around. Anyway, but so, yes, there were rumors in the building, in other words. But look up Harper. He's still hot.
Okay. I'm looking him up right now. What's she doing? Harper?
Harper Simon. Yeah.
Harper Simon. Was he also a singer?
At the time?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
singer-songwriter.
Okay. I didn't
see the creepers.
I didn't know what he was.
The hair. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I was just obsessed with him. I'm sure if he ever heard this, he would be sitting there thinking, wait, there were 2 little girls bopping around the building. He probably literally did not know that we existed. Quite literally.
I was going to say, as far as rich people, like rich Halloween, I went to school in Santa Barbara, and I never did this because I was too busy costuming and getting parties, but in what's south of Santa Barbara, where Oprah lives?
Montecito.
In Montecito, the rumor was that if you went to Oprah's house, you would get, like, if you trick or treated at Oprah's, you would get like an iPod at the time or whatever.
What? God, I love
How are you trick-or-treating at Oprah's?
You get an iPod. You get an iPod. Happy Halloween.
I mean, what are you doing? Walking up to the door?
Well, that was always the thing.
gate.
Like there was every freshman, like, you'd start school in September, and then the rumors would go around like Oprah, like all the rich people, like, who lived in Montecito, you would drive down there and try and trick or treat in Montecito.
Oh,
I never did it, but it was just like
Whoa.
It wasn't a kid. You weren't getting like a Toblerone from Oprah. It was going to be something epic,
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, I do also remember in that building getting full-size Snickers bars.
For
full-size ones.
Sure. That's like that's the least of it all. We have 45s. We've got trips to Jamaica. We've got iPods. We've got straight up cash. I mean, the rumors. Can you imagine? That's really good. So that was the bulk of your memories trick-or-treating in New York?
I don't think my mom would have let me trick-or-treated anywhere else. I remember one girl, we did the whole thing. We gave a different address so we could go to a decent school that was not in our neighborhood. So I remember one time trick-or-treating in her building, which was called the Pavilion.
Cool.
And it was on the Upper East Side. So I remember, but you weren't going to go out on the street or,
Right.
it had to be in a building that you had some connection with. Preferably a big building, of course, so you had some options.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
exciting. It was always really cool. There was always one house in the neighborhood, and the rumor would go that they had the big size candy bars, and you'd have to go like, we have to make it. We have to make it.
But no cash or
No. Although
45s.
my mother, this is so embarrassing. My mother, if we ran out of candy, and some years we did, there were so many kids that lived in our neighborhood at one point. And if we ran out of candy, my mom would start giving away pennies.
Oh, no.
Sounds like
Karen, no.
Pennies. And this is my favorite. She thought this was such a great idea. She had pencils made, like embossed on the sides. Where it said like number 2?
Yes.
Well, you could have them personalized.
Uh-oh.
You're going to love this.
Oh, no.
Happy Halloween. Love, Christine Lakin. Cringe.
Wait, what? Hold on. Was this once you're on the show? Or is
Correct. And she'd be like, we'll just hand out pencils. And I was like, Mom, this is the worst idea ever.
Do you still have any?
No one wants... No, I'm sure I threw them all out because I was so embarrassed. I was like, first of all, nobody wants a freaking pencil.
at all.
It's Halloween. She goes, it's so much better than candy. Candy will rot your teeth. And I'm like, that's the point.
That's the point. No.
Cringe. And I was like, I want nothing to do with this. I will not be home. I will not be handing these out. I was pissed.
That is embarrassing.
I think it only lasted maybe a year because I was so upset. But then she went on to Christmas. Merry Christmas. Love, Christine Lakin. Pencils.
Wow, this is a dark chapter.
It was not okay. It was not okay.
Well, speaking of New York, this is spooky. That, as I recall it, New York in the 80s was the perv capital of the entire world.
Oh, sure.
So spooky, I guess, in a true crime sense, because
I just picture various men in trench coats. Just opening them up at will.
Well, not that, but it was just kind of perv army there in the 80s. It just seemed, we only lived there for 3.5 years, but I remember a constant stream of men trying to molest us the entire time and kind of, in some cases, barely escaping. That was the entire time in New York. Yeah, so we used to ride bikes, my sister and I. We would go on a weekend and, we would all get on our bikes and, my mom was very, athletic and everything. And there's that big ring that you can ride around in Central Park. But of course, my sister and I would be going faster than my mom. She would just be relaxing and taking her time. And we would be 2 bats out of hell. And I just remember so many men, adult men, biking up to us and just being, oh, hey, girls. Hey, what's your name? How old are you? But I remember, where do you live? Oh, really? What's your address? Just full perv mode. Then you have, getting catcalled in New York when you're, 9, which is, great,
gross.
Fantastic. Good job out there, men of the 1980s in New York City. And then I remember another time I had another friend that I went to school with. I will call her Jennifer. And her mom, on the Halloween theme, for real though, her mom kind of looked like Elvira.
Oh.
She had that vibe. She kind of had that spiky sort of shag that was dyed black. And, you know, she was very pale and there was a lot of low cut going on and very slinky. And her husband, so Jennifer's dad, was like a music executive or something. So I would go to her place on the Upper West Side. And the funny thing about them is that they owned a limousine with another couple. They did that thing where they bought a limousine together.
Great.
And then when they went out on the weekends, they would hire a chauffeur to drive the limousine and just, you know, shuttle them around the city. But in any case, one day I was over there and...
Wait, they bought the limousine just for their personal use, or it was also a business venture?
No. It was just for them to use on weekends and stuff. Oh my God,
that's so funny.
Yeah, and then when they wanted to be driven around, they would hire a driver, but that way they owned the limo.
That is so funny. Okay.
So 80s. So one day her mom, you know, we were just hanging out on a weekend and her mom sent us out to get hair relaxer for her. And so we headed out, you know, Upper East Side, very nice neighborhood, but we headed out to the little, you know, Love's or whatever, you know, drugstore to get the hair relaxer. And we're walking over there, and this man comes up to us. He's probably in his early 60s, like, you know, clean cut, nice dress. His hair was kind of, you know, short haircut, salt and pepper. And he comes up, and he's just starts chatting us up. So we're probably 10 or 9 or 10. So he tells us, so he's just chatting, and then he goes on to explain that he has a book that explains what the F word means. And it is designed for kids about our age. So he wants to show it to us and get our thoughts on it. See, you know, do we like it? Or, you know, what do we think? Because we're sort of the target audience.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Bad news. So I am getting the bad news vibes. Jennifer was very, very gullible, very sheltered, and she was tiny. Because believe it or not, at that time, I was the biggest kid in my class. Like, they would line us up by height, and oddly enough, I was always at the back of the line because I was one of the taller ones, and she was all the way at the front because she was one of the tiniest ones. So she was way tinier and shorter than me. And she, you know, it's that thing. It's, you know, thankfully the murderinos, I love F politeness. But, you know, at that time, as a kid in the 80s, this guy is asking you to do stuff. So even though I knew it was a bad idea, I did not have the wherewithal to say, no, what are you doing talking to 2 little girls on the street, you freaking weirdo? So we're just kind of being polite and going along with it. But Jennifer doesn't seem to have any reservations. I'm going along with it, being polite, but I have a ton of reservations. So he says, okay, we'll just come over to my car.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The book is in my car.
Oh,
so come on over to my car and I'll show it to you. So he's walking us over to a side street and there is this really big sedan parked on the street. It was a Lincoln or a Cadillac. It was one of those really big 4-door, really big cars. So I'm kind of freaking out. Like, now we're getting a car involved in this. You know, what is going on? So we get up to the car and he says to Jennifer, he could probably sense that she was more just very, you know, completely open to it and not having any suspicions at all. So he says to Jennifer, okay, now stand up against the car. And she goes and starts doing it. And I just grabbed her hand, and I was so much bigger and stronger than her. I just grabbed her hand and I just went, run! And it was like a movie. Like, we ran.
Oh my God.
And we ran all the way to the drugstore. And
did he yell after you?
I don't remember anything but just trying to run as fast as possible. And just, you know, and I'm yanking her behind me, you know. And we made it to the drugstore and we went straight to the counter and we told the whole story to the lady behind the counter. And she did such a typical New Yorker, you know, like, you know, just picture the cigarette. Like, listen, kid, what do you want me to do about it? Like, she did not care at all. Wow. It wasn't, you know, all right, well, let's at least call the cops and report this. They should know that this man is
if I see
out
him,
and about.
I'll
what does he look like?
scram.
She could not have cared less.
Oh my God.
So we got our hair relaxer and we went back to the apartment. But I don't know if he was going to just start molesting her right there once he had her up against the car. I don't know if he was then just going to shove her into the back seat and run around, and jump in and drive away with her.
But a napkin of ether.
I mean, why does he want her to stand up against the car?
Yeah.
At that point, the book was almost
there was no
like
book.
an afterthought. Or I don't know if he thought also that maybe because that's the ruse that he used, that we wouldn't tell anyone, that maybe we would be embarrassed that we wanted to see it, or that we were. But it was such of all the things, it's such a creepy, specific thing. But the whole time in New York was like that. It was it was just pedophile island, aka New York City. It was so
damn.
Bad. It was bad.
That is bad.
And that wasn't, in the industry. That was just in the world.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. That is horrific.
There's a spooky story for you. But we made it out, we made it out.
Thank God for you.
We ran screaming. We got out of there.
That was like before Lisa, right? So.
Oh, yeah. I would have been, 9 or 10, probably.
Good Lord. On to more positive notes of Halloween. I feel a little traumatized. What did you used to go to a lot of Halloween parties growing up? Like here in high school, did people have parties?
Well, famously, Rich Carell, one of our producers,
For sure.
Directed a lot of step-by-step episodes. He was a complete Halloween freak.
Still is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Rich actually is such a collector of Halloween paraphernalia, monsters.
Everything you can think of, he has.
Every character. He's got Pumpkinhead. He's got
the Exorcist doll.
Oh, he has it.
He has one of the aliens from Alien. Yeah, Stephen's face. He has multiple props from so many different movies. It's wild. His collection has gotten so big that at I think it was the Ricardo Montalban in Hollywood, they displayed it all last year and charged tickets.
Well, and that he has a touring, like, haunted house thing that he does.
Well, yes, now, because I said to him when we saw him at the Hollywood show, I was like, my mother either said it or I said it. Do you still have your Halloween collection? And he was like, yeah, but it started to get really expensive just to, like, store all of the stuff. Because it's a warehouse, you guys. It's multiple warehouses, I feel like. So they just decided to start a tour. Because I think it would just be an easier way to store it.
Well,
just show it to people.
I mean, it's hardcore. Yeah, and
hardcore.
He would do a touring thing. I remember back in the day where he would send part of the collection, I guess, to do this haunted house because the rest of it was at his house. Right. So at that time, he lived in a very, very pretty part of LA with very old houses, really cool. The neighborhood looks like John Hughes movies.
Yes.
That's what it's one of those neighborhoods.
Tudor style.
A Tudor mansion next to a craftsman style mansion next to, very LA, but, beautiful old homes. And he would do up his entire house with all the stuff. And it would look like a professional haunted house.
Yeah.
Right? You remember.
It was a gorgeous house, too.
Beautiful house. And
it's exactly what you would think of. Like, beautiful big lawn, big pool, all the catering, bartender, dance floor, DJ, alien, it's just a thing of the Chucky doll. Then you go in, then you're walking through all the things and you're going into the bedroom and the Exorcist doll sits up and the head spins.
Yes. So he had it fully produced. So, that neighborhood also did full on Halloween decorations.
Yes.
So the whole front lawn. So that's his Halloween party. But aside from the party, just for the whole season, he would have, but it would be lights and animation and music and sound, and the whole thing would be going. And it's one of those neighborhoods where people end up driving over there and just driving through to see all the stuff. And it was very full on. So yes, famously, Rich would do his Halloween parties.
Do you remember what you went as? Because that was always a really big deal. What are you going to go as? What are you going to dress up as?
Yeah, that was a big deal because, of course, Rich, his costumes would be
out of this world.
So so full on, a complete professional level. Like he was ready to step onto a set of a horror movie.
Yeah.
With the makeup, with the costumes, with everything. So yeah, people used to go all out. I remember one year doing kind of like a Dangerous Liaisons look. That was one that I loved. So I went and to a costume house and rented one of those dresses that had the huge.
You were like Marie Antoinette.
Right. The big panniers on the side that makes you look really wide, the kind of that whole thing, and a bustle in the back, and, the boned, bodice. And then I went and instead of doing a wig, I got my own hair done into a huge, enormous Marie Antoinette style do. And then it was sprayed white and, all the kind of pale makeup and all that stuff. It was
so good. That was a really extraordinary costume. You really went all out.
I loved that.
I remember it.
I loved that look. That was years of that party, and that was really the party of the season.
It was.
So what were your highlight costumes?
Well, I wasn't there every year because sometimes it would fall on a week that we were having hiatus. And believe me, as a kid, that party was fun, but I just wanted to get back and trick or treat with my friends too.
Sure.
But especially in the latter years, when I was more of a teenager and I cared less about trick-or-treating and more about going to a cool party, those years I definitely remember. I went as like a random flapper. I think I borrowed the outfit from Jenna Von Oy, or maybe she borrowed it from me at one point. I don't know.
Well, who else had epic parties was Jason Marsden.
He did.
Because Jason Marsden is another Halloween freak.
Yes.
And he loves, the characters, and he collects stuff and his whole house. So he had a house up in the hills over in Burbank. And I remember Guy and I went, and we thought, we had a really fun and funny idea for costumes.
Okay.
We thought this was funny. And we also wanted to be scary and not cute necessarily. So we came up with the lucky landlord and the dead tenant.
Oh my God.
Which in a recent episode we had Frank and Carol, and they were going to play the lucky burglar, right? And I don't know if it's that we kind of twisted that idea, but it was the lucky landlord and the dead tenant. Okay. So we went to the Goodwill and we got Guy a really gross brown polyester suit. And then a really nasty kind of ivory colored shirt to put underneath with the big collar sticking out.
Yep.
And then we patted his belly. We gave him a big sort of hangover belly. And the suit was just greasy. It was just kind of dirty. It was so nasty. And then we got terrible fake teeth for him. So he looked like he had the bad teeth. And we greased up his hair so he would just look really just terrible. And then I wore a pink mini skirt and a little pink cardigan that was unbuttoned a little bit with a white tank top underneath. And then I had this really long platinum blonde wig. So my hair was not long or platinum at that time. And then I had a full face of makeup, but all the skin that was showing, we got this amazing makeup that was this kind of greenish gray. Oh. So it gave this kind of decomp color.
Sure.
That was all, the face, hands, legs, and then I had pink high heels that were made of rubber. They were so weird, but it had this kind of creepy vibe. Anyway, so we were very happy with ourselves, and we thought this was kind of funny, but also scary and spooky and gross and all the things. And then we show up at Jason Marsden's.
Oh my God.
And everyone was cute. There was nothing that was scary. There was nothing creepy or spooky.
Everyone was a sexy nurse, a sexy firefighter.
But it was
janitor,
so
sexy cat.
Yes, and to the nth degree. So there was this one, gorgeous girl, some actress or something, probably one of his exes, for God's sake. And she was Honey. And she had a gold evening gown on. So it looked like, honey dripping off of her. And she looked absolutely stunning. And the hair and the makeup, and she looked gorgeous. And then her boyfriend was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my God.
Right? So it was like that. Everyone else was hot as hell. And then we got in there and we're like, hey!
Decomp.
I'm the dead tenant, and he's the lucky landlord. And everyone was looking at us like we were They were horrified and nobody thought it was funny. It was terrible. And then no one talked to us the entire night. No. I remember we ended up just sort of getting edged up onto the stairs, and we were standing on the stairs sort of looking down at the living room where everyone was partying, and we were just thinking, well, we were just sort of, okay, well, this was not the right gig for this party. We should have tried to be as cute as possible.
We missed the vibe completely.
Yeah, we
missed the vibe.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I do remember one year, sorry, now it's coming back to me. Yes, I was the dumb flapper. That was the year, I actually think I didn't really go to those parties until I was a little bit older. I don't think my mom thought they were appropriate for me to go to, probably. Anyway. But I took Andrew Keegan, and he was some kind of strange ghost. But we had a great time. And I remember Angela and her boyfriend at the time went, and she was Princess Leia, and she did the parade.
Oh, I remember that. That was so perfect. She's such a perfect Princess Leia. No need to add any hair. No problem.
So
you can just do a braid the size of a cinnamon roll.
5 minutes
on either side out of her own hair.
Absolutely,
anytime, no
natural.
problem. Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was the last year of the show, I went with Jeff Juday. Okay. You don't remember what we were? We won the costume contest.
I will once you say it.
We went as the girls from Ab Fab.
Oh, yes!
Patsy and Adwina. And he was Patsy because he was tall, and I put this blonde wig on him. And let me tell you something.
He looked good.
Jeff Juday is a beautiful woman.
He was cute.
Jeff Juday is a beautiful.
There's no brick. He ain't a brick.
And a lot of people said that, not just me.
Yeah, I remember him having good legs and just looking.
I found these
fish as hell.
Yes, and I found. Of course, I had the idea because I was watching Ab Fab and I thought it was so funny. And I had the idea, and I went by a garage sale, and I literally found these kind of older lady sequency coats and a bunch of gold bracelets and jewelry, and I bought it all. And I was like, here, I'm going to do this for you. And I did his makeup and everything. And I did the wig, and I put a little padding in my butt so I could just, wiggle around, which
so good. You're so perfect to do the funny version of that character. Yeah. Oh, that's so
I'll
good.
find those pictures. Those are good ones. Stephen, do you normally do solo costumes, or if you're in a relationship, do you always do a...
It just depends. I feel like with LA Halloween, it just depends on the occasion. If you're going to a concert or a movie or whatever. I was going to say my dorkiest costumes, besides 6th grade where I dressed as a mailman and my mom sewed a dog onto my leg, like a little stuffed dog.
That's cute.
But when I first moved to LA, I did Carl Sagan. So I had the full red turtleneck and the mustard yellow suit.
Oh, wow.
That was really fun.
Wow, you could have been on an episode of Step by Step with your mustard yellow, signature color.
Right. And then I did Bob Ross.
Oh,
so I had the full perm hair and everything with the canvas and everything.
Oh my gosh. Well, now that you are full mom mode, what is your Halloween life like at this point?
I've never been more into Halloween in my life. The last, my daughter's 8. So we started trying to do family costumes almost from the beginning. I love costumes. I love dressing up. I've always loved the dress up portion of the season. And the older I get, the more I like it, because now I love figuring out what the family costume is going to be.
Well, VIP studio audience, you will not be surprised to learn that Lakin has famously, for many years, maintained a costume closet in her house. So
it was a full closet.
Yes.
Just with so many costumes.
Oh, yes. Oh, I know. So if you went...
it became a different part of our house. But I still have, and I allow myself 2 large and 1 medium of those
totes.
Those massive bins, like storage bins.
A tote.
Oh, that's a tote?
Some people call it a tote. I mean, no one's really toting that thing, but yes, some people call it a tote.
Okay. I thought a tote was like a little bag.
A tote bag or an enormous bin.
Or an enormous bin. Okay. I only allow myself so many. It's been very hard. They are bursting at the seams.
I am sure. Because yes, for years, there was a full-blown costume closet. Everyone knew about it. You knew exactly where to go to access it at any given time.
Yes.
So this is a serious thing. And it is a year-round thing. It is not a Halloween moment. It is a permanent fixture.
I have so many wigs. I had boxes of wigs. It's from doing theater. You just collect all the stuff. And then you make.
Is that the case? Because I've also done lots of theater my whole life. Guess what I don't have? Bins of wigs.
Well, you're not a hoarder like me, obviously, okay?
I'm somewhat of a hoarder, but you're a very specific type of hoarder. You're over there hoarding the costumes and the outfits and the wigs and the costume jewelry. I would love to see the whole collection.
It's really bad. We all have our things.
So what have some of the family costumes been?
Okay, so let me think. The first real year, I did like a pumpkin farmer motif. It was fine.
That's cute.
The second year, my husband and I actually got invited to an adult party. So we went as glow wrestler. Well, I was a glow wrestler and he was like a male wrestler. And then I got her a tiny Hulk Hogan outfit, complete with a mustache.
Oh.
Because she had kind of a long, like, mullet. And I thought that was pretty funny.
That's good.
We've been Frozen, the cast of Frozen. That's when Baylor was tiny, so he was the snowman. We've done Beetlejuice. That was last year.
Yes. Were you Winona?
No, Georgia was. My son was Beetlejuice.
That bitch just sashayed right in and took the starring role.
She absolutely
did. Fine.
She loves that look. She loves a Wednesday Addams vibe.
And I think I've mentioned it on the pod before, but I don't care. I'm bringing it up again. I auditioned for that part, okay? And spoiler alert, I did not get it. They said I was too young. But I remember the one of the audition scenes, because I did get called back. One of the callback scenes was at the end with the shake, 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 Sonora, shake body line. Like you had to do that whole scene, like they wanted to see you move and do that whole thing. I was in love with that part, but they said I was too young. And I mean, come on, that they did the right thing. Only Winona can be Winona, and she was perfect.
She was perfect. We just watched it again. It's really such a good movie. It's probably one of my absolute favorite movies.
It's so fun. It is so fun. We watched it as our Halloween movie too 1 year. Have you seen the new one though?
No, but I told my kids they want to see the new one, and I said you have to watch the old one first.
Aha! Nice. It's about history, people.
Come on.
It's about a foundation. It is about roots.
That's right.
We don't just skip straight to Beetlejuice. Absolutely not.
I really thought last year we did Addams Family. Year before last.
I remember those photos. You all looked great.
Really good.
Yes.
But this year, I have to be. It's sad. I don't think it's going to work out.
No, come on.
I've been trying really hard. So my son really wants to be Batman, and I'm cool with that. I've said let's do heroes and villains, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So he could be Batman. She could go as Harley Quinn. I could maybe do a Catwoman situation or a Wonder Woman and then
you have all those just in your totes, right? You could just choose one and just throw it on, right?
It's a mix and match situation. Yes. I've got definitely pieces.
There's a dark wig for Wonder Woman. There's
for sure.
No problem.
Probably many crowns. Anyway. But Georgia has just decided she wants to be a zombie cheerleader, and I can't figure out what the play is. Like, how do I make this work?
Oh, no. Sorry, folks. We've got Welly snoring in the background, too. As we're faced with a dilemma, he comes in with the snore. It's like exactly the comment we do not need.
I'm actually considering just getting her another costume just for the picture. Is that psychotic?
No.
Like, is there a DC villain that is a zombie cheerleader? Did Harley Quinn ever go through a zombie cheerleader phase? I don't know.
She kind of looks like a zombie.
She does. That's what I'm saying. Can we finesse Georgia into this really is a zombie cheerleader?
I think maybe
especially once she sees the props. Doesn't Harley Quinn have some cool, gear and stuff? Yeah, that mallet thing. That's pretty rad. I think when she sees the props, you can sell her on it.
Okay.
Just reach into a tote and grab the mallet. I know you've got that in there too.
But here's the other problem. Then I have to basically tell Brandon what he's doing, and guess who's going to have to find that damn costume? Me. You're going to be the Riddler. All right, I'll get you the jacket. Like, Like where am I going to find that?
He could be a good Aquaman, like the Jason Momoa version.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Like, you know.
Okay,
just to brown his beard a little bit more, you know? Like.
And what does he do? What does he wear? Just like a sarong?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'm into this.
Like,
this is great.
Just some green tights,
Brandon.
you know?
You're just basically in the nude for
Here's
this
what
Halloween.
I'm going to say. Listen, you're Aquaman or you're nothing. Or find your own costume.
Or
look, you're Aquaman. Put that sarong on, take your clothes off now.
Love it. Well, wouldn't be the first time, okay? Now, couldn't he be, and this might be the wrong universe, people will be screaming, but could he be the Joker? I mean, maybe
Joker's perfect.
No, that's easy.
Then, okay.
Yeah.
That's
but
Batman.
He has sort of long-ish hair, right? It would really just be doing the makeup and then kind of a suit. That's easy.
And he already has a top hat.
Well, I mean, in the Joaquin version, does he have a top hat?
I mean, the Joker's done a lot. It's really the makeup. The Joker's been
it's just
a
the
lot
makeup,
of
mostly.
yeah.
It's mostly
but I'm
the
just saying
makeup
for
and he could just wear a
dramatics.
suit. Oh.
For dramatics.
Okay. Well, okay. She's doing hand gestures to indicate dramatics.
Dramatics.
Apparently, we need dramatics, everyone.
Because you got to kind of cover his hair up. Otherwise, because, you know, I think that with the makeup and just a black hat, we could probably.
I mean, because, Brandon, his hair is long, but it's not as long as Joaquin's, and it's not greasy. You have to grease it up, Lucky Landlord style.
Or I'm going to have to do a little hack job on a wig, which I could do.
Again,
a green
not
wig.
See the first time.
Because some versions of the Joker, I feel like, have green hair.
Oh, well, we have the Beetlejuice wig from last year.
Beautiful. There we go.
Perfect. Guys, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for this. I've been kind of stressing out about this, and now I feel a lot better. Oh, my God. What else do I need as Catwoman? I've got the ears. I've got the tail. I've got a cute
I feel like you basically wore that outfit during our last photo shoot, essentially.
I kind of did.
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
So can you just do a super exaggerated winged eye, enormous lashes, a very pointy, kind of overdrawn lip?
For sure.
I mean, are you doing Michelle Pfeiffer? Are you doing Halle? What's
Anne
happening?
Hathaway.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh, God.
So many great Catwomen.
There's so many great Catwomans.
I think you can just riff and do whatever you want. I think you can just be super cute.
I'm going to be Jason Marsden Catwoman.
Yes. Do it Marsden style. Take it from me. Don't be uncute. No one wants that. Nobody wants it.
Speaking of being cute, let's talk about that random Halloween party that we both found ourselves at when I was in college.
Oh, yes.
That one that was in the hills.
Oh, yes, indeed. Up in the Hollywood Hills. It rained that night. It was so atmospheric. You know, LA gets hot in October. And it's not new. People are acting like it's new. It's not new. It's been hot here in October for decades. September is the hottest month, I'm convinced. Yeah. And October is hot as hell also. And then suddenly it kind of breaks right on Halloween. And suddenly it gets cold. Almost on the day is where it just turns. Mm-hmm. And then it rains for the first time in, 6 months. Yeah. And then you just go, ooh, it's fall in LA for real. Yeah, but it rained that night, I remember.
Yeah. And I think I knew this, one of my best friends from college, call her D. She knew this guy. Of course, she always knew a guy. She always knew a guy who had a thing, and him and his friends would have a party, and we would get invited. So they were having this party, and I think they rented this house together. We were maybe juniors in college or something. And I don't know why. He was like, invite whoever you want. It's like one of those. So somehow I told you, and you and Guy came, and I didn't know many people there, but it was a lot. There were a lot of people at that party.
Yeah, it was pretty off the hook.
Yeah.
Yes. And you were Tinkerbell, right?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the one picture I have of this party is a Polaroid, which is amazing. But Guy was
Quasimodo.
He was Quasimodo. He was not doing the Jason Marsden.
No.
He had the worst teeth I've ever seen.
Yeah, he had the fake teeth again, the really bad fake teeth. He had the burlap robe with a hunchback.
I'm sure people would go up to him and he would just be like, hello. And they'd be like, ah!
Once they saw the teeth and probably some kind of terrible sandal of some sort.
Sure. But you got the memo because you went as like a fairy wood nymph.
Yeah,
I learned. I'm mystical and hot.
Yeah, so I decided to be a wood nymph. People kept asking me what I was. And when I said wood nymph, they didn't seem to accept that, which kind of pissed me off. But anyway, I went to Goodwill. I got a green velvet mini dress, and then I cut the edges of the sleeves and the bottom of the skirt into little points, almost like a Tinkerbell sort of Peter Pan vibe. And then I bought a bunch of fake flowers, and I either sewed or hot glue gunned. I think I sewed them onto a choker.
Oh my God.
So I made a choker, and then there was all the flowers around the neck, and then I made wrist cuffs that also were covered in these fake flowers. And then I put my hair up and had a bunch more fake flowers in my hair, and then I did like a sparkly, glittery eye in green or purple or some kind of wood nymphy color. But my favorite part was I went and I got some of those bent, those long willow branches that you can get.
Willows?
No, they're the ones that are really tall, really, really tall. And they're very delicate, and they kind of branch off into a million directions, and they're very bendy.
Cattails.
No,
Weeping willows.
I don't know what to call them. I mean, you don't see them all around, everywhere, but they're just these really tall kind of willow branches.
Okay.
And at first I just attached them to my back, and they kind of formed wings because they were kind of branching out all over the place. But the problem was I was putting everybody's eye out in the party. So it was completely impractical. So then at a certain point, yes. Oh my gosh, Stephen just found it. So what's the name? What's the correct name for that, Stephen?
It says fresh curly willow branches.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
so really big and tall. But yeah, everyone
stick-like.
Yes, but bendy and pliable. Right. So then eventually we decided to bend them down back over themselves to really form kind of wings so that they wouldn't be putting people's eyes out, but then they wouldn't stay. So then they were really lethal because one of them would just kind of pop out of where it was tied down and then just whip somebody's head off.
People were not sober at this party. It was a liability.
So eventually the willows just got thrown in the trash or something because they were too dangerous. But that was my favorite part of the whole look.
It was good. What, didn't you have ears too? Didn't you also have like a pointy ear? Did you do a pointy ear? No, maybe not.
I don't think I did.
You just did your hair really cool.
It was, there's just the tons of fake flowers everywhere. It was pretty fun.
Good. I think my friend Dee and I overly got the Jason Marsden memo because she told me that she was going as a nurse and she was wearing the same costume that she had since she was in like 3rd grade. And I was like, huh? She's like, yeah, I can't button it at the boobs. And it's so short, it almost shows my crotch. And I was like, this is what you're wearing? She goes, yeah, sexy nurse. I've had it since 3rd grade. She wore like a red bra underneath it. She was so funny. She was just so funny. So then I ended up going as Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was wearing, definitely, it was just basically a bra and some kind of athletic gear and some opaque tights.
It was cute though.
I mean, yeah.
Very cute.
Sexy Tinkerbell.
I love Tinkerbell. What a great character. She's got so much attitude.
She does.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Very cute. Well, we'll have to post that photo.
Yeah. It was a good one. I was offered drugs in the basement.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind?
I didn't do them.
I was still. What kind?
Cocaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Pixie dust.
Pixie dust.
Pixie
there you go. Yeah. I actually have not been offered cocaine very much in my life. Do you find that hard to believe? I have not.
I think people in LA assume it's just everywhere.
It's just everywhere.
If you wanted it, you could just ask. I guess, but
guess.
I don't know. I think people assume
trick or treat.
Yeah, trick or treat. I think people assume that anyone who lives in LA or anyone who is in Hollywood or whatever is just constantly being asked if they want cocaine.
That is right. And that is not the case. First of all, cocaine is very uncool. It has been uncool for many years. It's not trendy. It's not really a good look, number one. Number two, it is quite expensive. So if someone's offering it to you, it's for a reason. They're trying to hook up with you. There's more to that story. Probably. They're not just randomly offering it, like Skittles on Halloween. There's something happening.
I mean, it was probably different in the 80s. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't know either.
Yeah, but anyway, I just think that's interesting because I think a lot of people wouldn't assume so. But yeah, very few times. Now, the amount of times I've been offered weed.
Sure. That's a different story.
That's a completely different story.
Yes.
Well, all of you out there, make sure after you do your trick-or-treating tomorrow night that you check your gummies because you never know. You never know what kind of gummies people are handing out these days. You gotta be very careful.
No.
Oh, wow. Do you think people would do that? Because that's not cheap either. I mean, in states where it's legal, those things ain't cheap.
Listen, if
Taking
you
your
live in
aunt's
Clive
CBD.
Davis's building, he's giving you fucking weed gummies, okay? He better be, or I'm not going out.
That's just for the parents handing out CBD gummies at the trunk or treat, you know?
Clive is just doing straight little baggies of cocaine. Clive's like, look, this is luxury, honey.
Come on.
Come on down.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Well, I hope you all have an amazing Halloween VIP studio audience. And if you have any great pictures of your costumes, please DM us, tag us. We want to post them.
We would love to see it.
You know, the worst day as a parent, most parents will say this.
Uh-oh.
The worst day of the year as a parent is the day after Halloween.
Why?
And for teachers, too. Because every kid is hung over. If there was ever such thing as a sugar, hysteria, excitement, mania, it is Halloween. More so than Christmas, because you're with your friends. And it's just, I mean, I remember. But getting those kids up the next day is a nightmare.
The next day should be a day off. Can we just get this done?
Well, in preschool, they started to do that because they didn't want to deal with any children that day. But you still had to pay the same amount. They were just
makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, as a teacher, absolutely. As a parent, I was like, I'm going to kill everybody. Go to school.
Now, we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but your house in Georgia, I picture it in a very specific way, but I can totally see it being haunted. Are you saying it was not haunted?
Oh, the house in Georgia? No, I didn't get that vibe.
Huh.
It was brand new. We were the first people that ever lived in it.
Oh, I think I pictured it as being sort of a classic older.
No, we lived in the suburbs in a development north of Atlanta that was being built. Like our street wasn't fully even done at the end of the street, the cul-de-sac, when we moved in. Our house was one of the, like maybe the 7th or 8th built on the street.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm picturing Poltergeist, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, brick, very traditional, very East Coast, very Southern. I don't know how else to describe that. Like bay windows.
Love it.
White trim.
Yes.
Orangey, reddish brick. Lots of shrubbery.
Was there a portico?
There was a screened-in porch on the back.
Oh, I love
and then also with
porch.
You love a screen. I love a screened-in porch. When you live in the South, you must have a screened-in porch because of the bugs and the mosquitoes. But it is so nice to sit outside and watch fireflies and listen to crickets, and like that was the place everybody hung out.
Okay, but they did not build it on top of a graveyard.
No,
and so sadly, no ghosts. No
I always
ghosts.
secretly wanted my house to be a little bit haunted.
Yeah, I've talked about it on the pod before. It is good. It's kind of good having a haunted house in a lot of ways. I mean, I think I think it kind of protects the house to some degree.
Yeah.
Because people do get the vibe. I mean, anyone who comes here, they'll come in and say, oh, well, as soon as we pulled up, we said, oh, this place is haunted.
Oh my God.
Or, the plumber comes in and is like, this is haunted. But before they come in, it's like, yes, you're right.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this place is very haunted. I did actually, the last 3 nights, something has woken me up at 5:55. Like a loud bang. Like a boom. Like a thing. And I have been like, what the fuck is that?
What?
And both, the first night I thought I was crazy. The second night it woke up Brandon. I said, what the fuck is that? And he goes, I don't know. I thought dogs fell off the couch. What was that? And then he went and looked. It was nothing. And then the third night I heard it again. And I was like, I am not okay.
Rule of threes. Why is it always at the same time?
And so, of course, my mind goes to, it's a ghost. Absolutely. 100% it's a ghost. I have been saying that my entire life. It's a ghost. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a ghost. Never a ghost.
But you still don't know what it is.
Brandon's like, you got to stop conjuring this. I'm like, I'm not conjuring anything.
He's blaming you for conjuring it?
I said, I'm just stating the facts. And then the next day he goes, okay, I figured out what the sound was. I was like, what?
What is
And
it?
he said, I just redid the timer on the sprinklers. It's the sprinklers. There's some kind of pump under there that keeps going on and off. And I was like,
okay.
well, can't it just be a ghost?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
There's
it
something
really freaked me out.
almost disappointing.
I'm very disappointed.
When there is a perfectly rational explanation like that.
So, do you want to talk about your non-rational explanations?
Well, yeah, okay. So, yes, this house does have that vibe. I also thought so. I remember the first time I saw it, the realtor was taking me, and I had one of my high school friends, Chris, with me. And we pulled up, and she said, okay, there it is. And she pointed to this kind of yellow house. And I said, oh, okay, that's too bad. I was hoping it was this other one. And she said, no, that is the one. And of course, the one that I wanted it to be was my house, which is, it's kind of set far back from the street. And it just has a vibe. And I just thought right away, it just is haunted. And my friend Chris thought the same thing before we went in. And then I just fell in love with it. And this was the house, that I ended up with. And it has always been, there's just something. I don't know what it is. And I don't know what the explanation is, but it was built in the 1930s, and right from the very beginning, just things started to happen. Well, first of all, the first night I ever slept here was the night of the huge Northridge earthquake. So it was my first night alone in the house. And then, there was no power. That was my first night. So I'm 18 years old.
That's
I'm sleeping in the house by myself for the first time. There's no furniture. There's nothing. The earthquake happens. So scary. God. And if, for those of you in different parts of the country, if you've never been through an earthquake, it truly is horrifying.
That was terrifying. We have to do a whole podcast about the Northridge earthquake.
Oh my God. Because there's nowhere to go. There's no escape. You can't get to higher ground or drive away from it, or there's nothing. You're just stuck with it. There's almost nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I was tossed out of bed.
Oh,
because I was staying at my dad's house because it was like President's Day or something. So I normally went to school in Orange County, but because it was that long weekend, I was at my dad's house in Pasadena.
Oh, yeah.
So I woke up on the floor.
Oh.
Like literally, like I wasn't wearing footy pajamas. Like that makes it cuter than it was. But just imagine pew, like 6-year-old Steven like thrown out of bed.
Oh, yeah.
It was. It's just this, and wild. It's just like people say, the sound is so loud. You hear it coming. You might know what it is. Anyway, so that was the first night in the house, and just right from the very beginning, there's these French doors in the living room, and they have these closures on them where it's a doorknob that is attached to these rods. I don't know what the style of old-fashioned closure is, but to open the door, you have to turn the knob, and once you do, it moves the rods, and then they get pulled out of these little grooves that are, pushing the rods into the, the wall above and into the floor below.
Creepers.
Yeah. So then you have to turn it, then it moves those rods when you turn the knob, and then you have to pull it, and they open in. And so it just kept happening where I would come down in the morning and all of the doors would be open.
Oh, no. Oh,
those 3 doors, those 3 sets of doors would be open. And it was just like, well, how is that happening when you have to pull it open from the inside? You have to twist the knob enough so those rods come out of those grooves. How does this keep happening? And, eventually I got a big, scary dog. I got a Russian shepherd named Valika. And I would be sleeping and I would hear her in the middle of the night outside barking. Go, what? And then I would go down, and it was because the doors were open and she would just run outside. God. So
after the ghosts.
Well, I mean, this kept happening. So that was really alarming. But then it just kind of went on and kind of turned up, as these things tend to do. Where I would just be alone in the house and I would hear an entire house full of people downstairs. And so I would be in the bath. This would always happen when I was washing my face in the bathroom, and it's a very small house and there's a very steep set of stairs up to the 2nd floor, and I'd be washing my face in the bathroom. And then I would hear people walking on the stairs, footsteps on the stairs. I would hear people opening and closing the kitchen cabinets. I would hear the dining room chairs scraping against the floor. I would just hear, and it's the weirdest thing because you're standing there and you're going, no. no. There's no way. And then you start coming up with all these other explanations. Well, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that. But then as you're listening and the moments are ticking by, there's no question that this is what you're hearing. So then you start going, I'm not crazy. I'm hearing this. This is happening right now. And then as it keeps happening and it doesn't stop, it's just this such a scary feeling. Like I just remember like turning bright red, just heart pounding, because the longer it's going on and you're listening to it, you just know this is happening right now. This is happening right now. So this happened a few times, but then it came to its culmination.
I just heard something.
That was probably Welly.
No, you're not going to explain this away to me. Okay.
Flapping his jaws.
Let me have it.
It might be the ghost.
Well, he's not there. No.
Oh, no, he's totally there. He's right there, right outside the sound blanket.
I'm quite scared right now. This is exciting. I kind of feel like things might happen tonight.
Well, it's very possible. It happens all the time. So then another night, I'm in there, I'm washing my face, and I've got the soap on my face, and then it all fires up again, and it's the same thing, and I'm just going, I can't believe this, but you just can't argue with the reality. Like this is happening right now.
Oh my God.
So then the door to the hallway, the bathroom door to the hallway was open, and I saw something just fly by down the hall really fast. And it just looked like, it was moving so fast, it was hard to see what it was, but it wasn't that high off the ground. It was maybe a little less than waist high, but it just looked like if you had a black, ball just flying straight across.
So not like a shadow, not like a full figure, like an
not
orb,
like a person or
orb.
A child or a body. It was just an orb. And then I just completely freaked out because I'd never seen anything. It had been this other stuff, the doors and hearing things. I'd never seen anything. So then I just said, okay, I'm going to just talk to this, whatever this is, and just, I don't know what else to do because I'm going to have a heart attack. So I just said, in my mind, okay, look, I know that you're here and I actually like that you're here, whatever you are, but I can't see you. Even hearing you is scaring me to death. And I cannot handle it. I cannot ever see you. So I just kind of said that in my head. And then I just said, okay, I don't know what else to do. So then I just shut my eyes and just was washing makeup off my eyes. And then I just felt something touch the side of my neck. Just not hard, not poking me, not aggressive, but just, it's like if someone took their fingertip of their index finger and just kind of pressed it in, right under my ear, just pressed it into my neck, and then they let go, and then everything stopped, all the noise. And I've never seen anything in here.
In my mind, that is so scary. And then, the other side of it is literally Alec Baldwin being like, I think she felt it. I don't know. Do you think she felt it? She might have. Should I try it again? No, leave her alone.
Well, yeah. So then we've had a couple of friends who are mediums come over here. Guy at one point had a guy friend who was a medium. And I have a girlfriend who's a medium. And they both said the same thing, which was very weird. They both said independently, years apart, there is an older woman and a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And the older woman is she takes care of the little boy. And she works in the house. She's a governess or a nanny or something. And they're just here. And they're not going anywhere. And she is kind of, she's a positive figure, basically. Which I can totally, I can get that. I can see that. But they both said the same thing. This was older woman and this little boy.
What's their damage? What happened?
I don't know. But the guy's friend, the medium, he saw the little boy in this room where we are.
Oh my God.
And he saw the woman in the living room. Is
this his bedroom?
Maybe. And then my girlfriend, she saw the older woman in my bedroom, in our bedroom, looking out the windows and just being up there. But they're here to stay. So I don't know what the story
We need
is.
to look into like history of like fires and plagues and I don't know, weird electrocutions or something, things that happened back in however long ago it would be. Just look in papers.
Yeah, that I would love to know who she is. But I mean, she shouldn't leave. I mean, if this is neither of them should leave. If this is where they are or where they want to be, then this is where they should stay, I mean, I do, sometimes it's not always great. I mean, sometimes I have nightmares, but I've always had a lot of nightmares. But other times I do, I'll wake up and I will think that someone or kind of see or sense someone in the room standing by the door. And I want to wake up so I can sit up and look and see who it is. But I have sleep paralysis at that point and I can't move. So I know that they're there, but I can never sit up to see who it is. But this will go on. It feels like a really long time where I'm struggling so hard to wake up and I so want to see who it is because it's scary. Like I'm really scared. I want to see who it is, but I can't move,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it active right now? Does it get more active around Halloween or is that just like things are going on and off? Are you seeing that?
Yes, things are going on and off. The screens are going on and off. And the electricity.
No, is that for real?
Yeah.
Things just went. That turned
something's
off. Changing.
Yeah, I'm not.
The light is changing in here.
I didn't do anything.
Oh my God! It's been off. Oh my God! Oh!
I think I went to sleep, but
Brandon was right. I'm conjuring.
Well, maybe they appreciate being recognized and talked about.
I love you. You can be here.
I'm your biggest fan.
They're super positive, whatever they are. No, yeah, it does heat up. And then
around Halloween.
Well, just at random times, know, and it heats up and it dies down, and Guy has a lot of experiences with them, and yeah.
That was scary.
That was kind of creepy. Yeah, but you'll see. If you go to the bathroom now, like I'm gonna have to come with you.
Keanan and I are never going to the bathroom again.
Ever again.
But that is
look in there. I mean, Bloody Mary's in that bathroom.
That is where most people see it, and we don't tell them these stories. People will just come over and not want to. They
don't like
are afraid.
I'm scared
in the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm
and
nervous.
We were friends with a couple where the husband would make his wife come with him because he was scared of the bathroom.
Oh.
And yeah, the bathroom is definitely. Sorry,
okay, that was also
that was Welly rampaging his enormous ass down the stairs. But yeah, there's a lot of people feel something in the bathroom, or no one says anything, and then they go up to the bathroom, they come back down, and they say, "Is this house haunted?"
I'll go to the bathroom with you.
Yeah, well, we can hold hands.
I can close the shower curtain and be fine.
But you'll see the lights in there do flicker and change. They go off completely. They come back on. The bathroom is hot. There's always something off. It's
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that bathroom feels like absurdly quiet. Like it feels almost like it's padded. Obviously, it's not though.
It's not. I renovated it, so I know exactly what's in there.
But when you go in there, it like weirdly feels like you're stepping into like another dimension or something. Like that's the vibe I get when I go into that bathroom.
That bathroom is a portal.
Like you'd open the door and it would be like 100 years ago or something. Like
maybe. Yeah.
Oh.
It has that. It definitely has that.
Well,
vibe.
on that super spooky note, you guys.
Studio audience, studio audience. We wish you the happiest and spookiest yet safest Halloween. We are so grateful to you. We're so thankful to you for being part of our VIP studio audience. We really are so honored and so appreciate your support.
And for all of you sexy cats, okay.
And sexy nurses.
And
dead tenants.
And hot Marie Curies. Have a great Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. Save all your chewy sweet tarts for me. And
I'll take the sour gummy worms.
She'll take the sour gummies.
Obviously.
And I hope you enjoyed this very special Halloween episode of Keanan and Lakin. We'll catch you next time.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. You can write us at KeananandLakin@gmail.com and follow us on social at Keanan and Lakin. Big shout out to our producer and editor, Stephen Ray Morris. We love you dearly.
Spooky, creaky sounds.
Creaky chair. Okay, are we ready?